To me, it's an early morning here with the Cincinnati Bengals. Everybody knows it's my favorite team. Favorite coach here is Mr. Zac Taylor. There's been a couple shifts here in year 7, more morning practices. Why did we make this change? Because I like to go to Pilates and bring donuts later in the day, and I can't anymore.
Oh, I'm a morning person, so I want to set the schedule around what I like. But we just want to get off to a fast start. You know, that's been a big emphasis on our season. So starting the day fast. Our first thing is a team meeting. We meet on the turf. We have some sort of competition to get everyone riled up to start the day, offense versus defense, get the competitive juices flowing. And then we get on the field a lot quicker than we have in the past. And so it's been good. Our guys have responded well, and we'll continue to do it for the rest of training camp.
What's the biggest benefit you've noticed from that shift?
Well, the heat, you can avoid some of the heat a little bit. Now, we'll get back acclimated to that once we get close to the season. But we just had some really sharp practices. We put the install in the night before. Guys have all night to review it. They show up fresh the next day, ready to roll.
What's been your favorite competition to start camp so far?
Well, we do a lot of off-field stuff, so there's a lot of basketball, free throw shooting, three-point shooting,
always
timing
with the basketball
stuff.
in you,
it's
Coach.
convenient because we got one in the gym there, so our guys like to do that. So again, it's brought some competitive juices there with some of our guys that think they can shoot and some guys that definitely cannot shoot.
Who needs the most work? Be a fair evaluator. Who needs work in the hoops department?
I would say that Ted Karras versus McKinley Jackson was not a great competition on either side. Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah. Get in the lab, gentlemen. Get it done. I just said year 7. I sort of can't believe that it's year 7 here in Cincinnati for you. When I say that, what goes through your head?
In some ways, it feels like year 2. In some years, it feels like year 15. So it just kind of depends on the day, the situation. But we've learned a lot over our experiences here. You know, this is a new team every year. We look back and there's 10 guys that played in the Super Bowl on this roster. We got 90 here in camp. 10 of them played in the Super Bowl. So there's a lot of guys that have to adjust to getting in the divisional race, getting in the playoff race, painting that mindset, understanding what's important in training camp and what kind of details we're going to emphasize to be the complete team that we want to be.
You mentioned the fast start, so I'd love to get into sort of maybe your perspective on that. And I think where I'd like to go with it is the preseason. Has your opinion on the value of snaps in the preseason changed over these 7 years?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's changed. Everything has always led us to those outcomes. Joe Burrow being healthy, he has not been healthy until this training camp. And so when your quarterback's not playing, why is your left tackle playing? Why is JAMAR playing? So there's a ricochet effect. That happened to us in LA in 2018 with Andrew Whitworth not playing and Jared Goff sitting out. So now we've got guys that are ready to go. We want to give these guys those snaps. So we're excited to get them started against Philly. They'll play against Philly. We got a game against Washington. They'll play a little more against Washington. And so the guys have embraced that. I'm excited to watch them go compete.
Joe, playing against the Eagles. Yeah?
Yeah,
I'm so excited. You're like, yeah, of course. Yeah. I love to hear that. Every camp I go to, I feel like it's defined by one thing, whether it's physicality or accountability or discipline. What is that? If you could define, at least early here in camp, what is this camp all about with one quality?
I have loved 2 words, the communication and the competition. The communication on both sides of the ball, I think, has been outstanding. And the competition that's brought up between the offense and the defense. I mean, there's times the offense is going to win a drill, and the next day the defense is winning it. That's caused a lot of chatter. I think it's elevated everyone's level of play. And I walk off the field a lot of days just saying the Bengals got better. Doesn't matter who had the better day. I just felt like the Bengals got better, and that's encouraging for me as the head coach.
I haven't been here, but as an outsider seeing what I'm looking at, even just with highlights and what people are talking about, I would have said chemistry. As a fan, I think there's a really, really incredible chemistry that's sort of standing out in the way the guys are talking about each other and welcoming, you know, TREY being here, SHEMAR being here. And it's sort of like, for Joe, it's a normal off season. It's his first sort of normal, I'm healthy, I'm great off season. I can't wait to see what he does with that. You're saying, you know, we come off better. Everybody's sort of working together and all hands on deck. Mr. Burrow helping with the defense, I'm hearing. Talking Demetrius through what to do, and then Demetrius picks him off. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? Is it like an evolution, taking more on his plate as a leader? Because even him watching tape with the defense in the offseason, it's very cool. Yeah,
he's just a tremendous resource, and so shame on you for not using Joe. And it's not that Joe has to go to every player and say, here's how I can help make you better. A lot of it is the ownership of those players to go to Joe and not be afraid of a guy who's in his 6th year and been a Pro Bowler and led us to the Super Bowl, all these great things Joe's done. We got a lot of guys with a different mindset that are willing to go approach him, and Joe is an open book. He wants to make everybody better. And so he'll tell you, hey, here's what I saw from you that made my life a little easier that you can do to complicate things a little bit. And I think those guys have really taken that information and run with it.
I think the offense feels great, and people just want to clown on the defense. Write it off. say it's not going to be there. Joe's going to have to throw for 1,000,000 yards. Why do we have that wrong? Maybe you can explain, even just from a defensive coordinator perspective, what he brings that I need to know about in Golden.
I think he's been all over the details. He's been all over the ball disruptions, getting the ball away. The communication's been so critical, putting it in front of the room, making sure everybody's on the same page. People have to talk about something, and so that's what you got to learn in this profession. They'll talk about something. There's got to be a positive somewhere and a negative somewhere in the eyes of the media oftentimes, and so we ignore that. We feel like we got a great team. We have great coaches. Our players have embraced all the roles we're putting them in, the situations we're putting them in. I'm really encouraged. I think we've had a really good training camp so far, but still a lot of work left to do.
I like that we're sort of underselling it. I think it's an undersell, over deliver. You guys are doing your work, and let's just see what happens when the season starts. TREY being here, such a great sign. Love that he's around the team. I know the business side is the business side. From your coach's lens, what is the biggest benefit of having him out there around the team, for himself maybe, or even more for the teammates?
Well, I think we got a lot of young players on that side of the ball in his position group. So I think every tidbit of information he's able to give them, aside from what Jerry Montgomery's already covering with them. So I think that's good to hear from a player oftentimes. And then just he's been positive in the locker room. He's been great to have around. Hopefully when something shakes out, he's here. He's been around the installs. He's been around the team, and it's seamless transition.
How would you describe SHEMAR? Because what I'm seeing on these little clips is really impressive.
Yeah, he's picked things up very quickly. You know, there's been some time missed with some of the scheme, and that's what he's catching up to speed on. But in terms of being a physical football player, we've seen that every day he's been here. So that's really encouraging. He's only going to get better every single day that passes. And so we're excited about the pick. We're excited to get him back into camp. He's had a tremendous attitude as he gets out there and works, and the sky's the limit for SHEMAR.
You had a great attitude on Netflix. I don't know that you signed up for that, or what was that process? Hey, you're just going to be on Netflix quarterback. A best supporting role goes to Coach Zac Taylor.
That's how things are nowadays, you know. And I've always gone back and forth with Emily on. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't care. Put it all out there. There's nothing I'm ever going to do that I'm ashamed of, that I don't want people to see. It's who I am. I watched the first 2 episodes. I think it was 5.
I'm actually shocked that you watched any, but I would have expected the answer. But I know that your sons probably had a lot of feedback.
That was the whole reason. We were getting texts that one of my sons was on it, you know, with his head shaved and bleached blonde for Joe. And so we had to skim. So I've made this point before, but we watched Joe's. We watched Jared's because we coached him in LA, and I don't know Kirk, so we didn't bother with that part. So we just kind of skipped through, and
you fast forward
we'd watch all Joe's, fast forward a little bit of Jared's, and then we would just skip the other part. I love Kirk Cousins as a player, but again, I'm just focused on the things I know.
I loved watching the part where you guys crushed the Titans. Dominate the Titans, and you know, it's a thing that I've noticed with Joe. He's just not satisfied, and you sort of are, dare I say, like the balance to that. Like, let's point out the good. How has your dynamic sort of evolved to where it is today, where he is confident as ever? I can tell.
Yeah, you as a head coach, you have to balance where your team is at every single week at different parts of the year, and what that team needs to be at our best. That was in mid-December, and so I'm happy our quarterback's not happy with all the pre-snap penalties and all the turnovers we had that day. Felt like we could put a lot more points on the board. That's great. My head coach, I got to be able to balance the role of the defense and the state of mind that they're in at that time as well, and trying to get our best these last 3-4 games of the season. So there's a lot of emotional times on the field with players, and Joe being one of them, other guys being other times. And as a head coach, sometimes you're going to step in something, you know, you're stepping into an emotionally charged situation, but that's my role. I got to be able to do it and have those conversations.
My perspective is that he celebrates some little moments when there's a great play, or you know, even in quarterback, you sort of saw that. But he is hard to satisfy. Like he wants it more, and I relate to that. I very much understand that. What would it have to look like? Like, what is the perfect game situation or win where he would actually celebrate?
No, I think there's plenty of times, even in losses, where he's known that we've played well, and there's 1 or 2 things as a team that didn't go our way, and
he celebrates them.
No, celebrate is
right.
That's an extreme word,
Understood.
but just understand it's the game of football, and one little thing can go the wrong way, and as a team, if we're not on all the details, then we're not going to win that game. And so I think he's got really good perspective on wins and losses, on things he can control and things he can't control. But again, he's a champion, and he expects a very high level of detail from everybody around him, and that's what we want from our starting quarterback.
I'm trying to understand when he says, "I'm passing better than ever." And I feel better than ever. I'm trying to understand, what does that mean?
It's weird. I've talked to, I got friends in the league, and you kind of recap training camp, and I've kind of made that comment like, Joe got better, and I don't even know how that's possible.
What?
It's just some of the throws he's making right now. He's as good as I've seen him, and we got to continue.
Could you describe what that means, that his throws are better than ever?
Well, it's the anticipation, I think, is even a higher level, and it's not even the anticipation; it's the spots on the anticipation, the types of throws, and just the voids in the field he's seeing. He's always been excellent at that. I think it's really beneficial for him to get all these training camp reps that he's maybe at times missed in the past, and he feels like he's in a really good spot right now.
You mentioned coaching for other guys, other teams. Yes, sorry, Cincinnati. Yes, he has. You take on a lot of your old friends this year. I thought that was fun. I don't know if you've noticed that. Liam Cohen, week 2. Campbell, week 5. You have Matt LaFleur, week 6. Ben Johnson, week 9. Ben said he called you for advice after taking the Bears job. What did you tell him?
That's a great question. I don't remember exactly what I told him. Ben and I go way back. For 4 years, we were in the quarterback room together in Miami with Dan as the tight end coach. So I've got great memories with Ben. One of the smartest people I've ever been around in my life. And so I'm excited to watch how Ben does. We got to play him, so we got to be at our best because I know that he'll have Chicago ready to go.
Did you don't remember the conversation, Coach?
I mean, I have a lot of conversations with these guys.
Yeah.
So
I would have liked Netflix to cover that.
It's not all just
Dan Campbell, the tight end coach. You and Ben, that would have been pretty fun to
Hard
have
Knocks
Netflix.
2012, Miami Dolphins.
That's exactly
right. Go
right.
back and check the tape. It's all out there.
I'm going to tell you something that I don't know if you know. Do you know what you're 10 wins away from, Coach?
I have no idea.
You were 10 wins away from moving into 3rd on the team's all-time list.
Okay.
3rd.
Okay.
We're getting that this year, correct? I'm sure. 10 double-digit wins. How do you feel about that? You would pass Bengals founder, respectfully, and OG head coach Paul Brown.
Yep.
3rd all-time.
The history in this franchise is tremendous. I mean, I've read Paul Brown's book several times just to fully understand the history and the players and the coaches. And so I don't take any of that for granted. You know, it's to be here 7 years is a long time in this league, and I still have a lot to learn, a lot I can continue to improve on. But you know, anytime you hear some piece of history like that where you're a part of history, and it's a fun thing to be of, and I'm really proud to be part of the Cincinnati Bengals. It's
absolutely unbelievable, and I know that you are. I love that you've read that book. Anybody that you want to put on the map for me as I'm going to watch practice today?
I think Chase Brown continues to have a great trend. His arrow has just always been up. And so there's a lot of guys I can paint that picture with right now, but I think Chase is a guy who is never satisfied with how he's doing and continues to elevate his role on the team and things we can do with him. And so I think I can name probably 15 players that fit that category, but I think Chase is a fun one. You hear about all these weapons we got on offense, and hopefully he's slept on a little bit. That'd be great for us.
Great for you, great for me. The vibes here, I think, are so positive. I feel like everything's trending upwards. Congratulations on having a healthy, beautiful team to start the season, and good luck. Now go do your thing.
Awesome.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate you.